What's up, everyone? My name is Blue, and we are back with some more malicious compliance posts. These people are just doing what they're told to pull one over on the people telling them to do the thing in the first place. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. And with that, let's get into it. Cost my company $10,000. So, I worked a full-time shift work job, where we changed between two positions based on the day and hours. If we were rostered on Monday through Friday, 0600 to 1800, we were at one position, and weekends, night shifts, 1800 to 0600, and public holidays, we were at the other. We received weekly rosters to show where we were working, and the company faced heavy fines if a position was unmanned. I knew a public holiday was coming up, but the roster had me on the regular Monday to Friday position. I approached my manager and explained, who said she would check it out. Further info. I was told by our head office that I would be the manager when the old manager quit, and while I was on holiday, they hired this girl, who had zero experience as a manager or on the site, where I had been on the site for 8 years and had been assistant manager. So I was not inclined to put myself out to cover her or the company. When I came in for my next shift, I found a note from her to just follow the roster, even though it was wrong. Sure thing. I spent 12 hours watching movies and doing absolutely nothing at 2.5 pay, PH rates. I literally took my shoes off and spent the day with my feet up on the desk. The company got a minimum $10,000 fine for not having the other position manned, and the manager got blasted for not using common sense. Again, here we go. New manager with zero experience comes in, and an experienced employee kind of tries to help them out. They have some kind of complex about being the boss, and everything goes to crap. No one will ever learn this lesson, apparently. If you think my skirt is too short, you should check out my underwear. One of the greatest examples of malicious compliance I have ever seen came from a classmate I had in high school. She got in trouble for wearing a skirt that was too short to school. That same day, the cheerleaders wore their uniform to school as some kind of game day tradition. But she just pointed out that her skirt was actually longer than the one the cheerleaders were wearing. The explanation she got from the principal was that the cheerleaders' skirts were fine because of the bloomer underwear that they wore under their skirt, which was kind of a creepy thing for a 50-year-old man to be talking about teenagers' underwear. She was sent home and told to come back when she was wearing something more appropriate. Instead of going home, she ran to a store, picked up a pair of bloomers, put them on under the skirt, and went back to school. When the principal called her out for still wearing a skirt that was too short, she just asked him if he wanted to see her underwear. He was too embarrassed to respond, so he let a female staff member handle it from there. They ended up changing their stance to the cheerleader skirts being fine not because of the underwear, but because they are an official school-issued uniform. I always thought that was a BS answer too, but I guess it did get around the loophole. Yeah, so what this story doesn't mention is how did the principal know that she wasn't wearing bloomers in the first place? Alright, creep. What are you looking up girls' skirts for? Maybe that's why he's a principal. I think there's something deeper here that I don't even want to think about. So let's move on. Withhold my pay if I don't do your survey? I'll do your survey. Where I worked, we had these online surveys we would have customers do. Of course, no customer wants to do some stupid online survey, so we almost never saw them return to us. Eventually, the owner loses his God-blessed mind at the fact that our surveys aren't coming back, and decides that we, the employees, will start doing the surveys so that corporate sees good reports. When we don't do these surveys, he decides to tell us he will not give us our paycheck unless we do the survey and give the code. Mama didn't raise a fool, but she raised a petty woman. I took a bunch of the empty survey slips, did them all online, on different devices no less, and gave the worst ratings you could give, made up fake situations that happened, just made them seem like the worst place on earth. This went on for a year without them noticing until I left. Good riddance. How did the owner think that would turn out any differently? You have probably underpaid people, and you're making them do a survey to get their paycheck? Under threat of not getting paid, you're asking someone their opinion. Yeah, brilliant plan. Brilliant. You want pictures? Sure thing. So where I currently work, we have some heavy machinery that gets used around the yard. Forklifts of all sizes, mobile cranes, that type of thing. And as most companies do, they have run them into the ground to the point they spend more time waiting to be repaired rather than in use. Last year, though, we were told that we couldn't use a few of them for a couple of days. Finally fixing them properly or replacing them? No. They instead decided to paint them the company colors instead. Because that will, of course, fix everything, right? So they all got painted nice and pretty, sent out again, and of course, due to the state of our yard, promptly got scratched up, etc. This didn't stop the bosses emailing me asking to take photos of the wonderful new paint job to show the head office how wonderful they look. What a great idea it was. Malicious compliance time. I went around and took the best photos I could, making sure I got every dent, every scratch. Taking photos next to some of the bigger potholes in the yard and making sure I got the out-of-service tags in shot for the broken down machines. I'm unsure what happened behind the scenes, but there was no blowback onto me. Instead, I got a polite email recently asking my opinion on some new forklifts they miraculously had the money for suddenly. I would have loved to have seen the title of that email. Something like, "Check out our beautiful new equipment," and they just get an email full of scratches and dents and repair tags. I'm sure that's what head office wanted to see. I know how to cook chicken, dude. Not sure if I should post this here or in petty revenge, but here goes. My boyfriend said tonight he wanted some chicken tenders for dinner. I felt like cooking, plus I had never made him fried chicken before, so I said sure. Went to the store after work, got everything I needed, and started cooking when he got home. I get my oil heated up, and I'm about to drop the chicken. He starts questioning what I'm doing like I've never fried chicken at all in my life. He starts saying I need to use tongs to drop the chicken and that I'm going to start a grease fire. Nothing has even gone in the skillet yet. He says I need to use the air fryer instead. So I did. Mind you, I have a tiny 2-quart air fryer, and I've never fried chicken with an air fryer before. I knew it wouldn't work well, but I did it anyway for his tenders. They come out dry. The breading didn't crisp up. The egg was still eggy. It was a mess. Meanwhile, on the stove, I have perfect, crispy, golden brown, well-seasoned chicken tenders. Hell, I was surprised at myself. I make his plate with the dumpy tenders and mine with the good ones. I tell him food is ready and he comes out, takes a look at his plate versus mine, and then pretends to do something else for 20 minutes. I remind him food is ready, and he says he's coming. Another 10 minutes pass. He's looking all sad, just like his plate. Then he finally came to eat the food he said he wanted. Hopefully taught him a lesson. Don't insult the person going out of their way to make you food. P.S. Yes, I used my words and told him what he said hurt my feelings, to which he did apologize. After his apology, I shared my tenders. Communication and a little malicious compliance is key. If you're not the cook, get out of the kitchen. Can't tell you how many times my dad yelled that at my family. You're not cooking, get out of the kitchen. Simple rule. Follow it. Get good chicken tenders. And that's all the time we have today for these malicious compliance stories. If you liked any of the stories, make sure to click that like button, and if you have something to say about them, let us know in the comments down below. Also, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more stories. Thanks for listening, everyone. Catch you later.